Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Welcome to FaerieQuest and a new episode of Real Fairies in Real Photographs. This time we are at Timmons Grove in Albion, Iowa, and we have been here together before. You can find the link for that video in the description box below. In that video, I took you on a tour of Timmons Grove, a video tour, only we just went through, I believe, one photo for that particular video. This time, when I went back to go through the photographs for Timmons Grove to see what I could share with you, I found some oddities, things that I feel are unusual that I wanted to share with you. And for many, the fairies that I show are unusual, but these are a little more unusual. And they are fairies, but interestingly unusual. So let's go. See the white fellow in the center? He is laying back, kind of lounging. We can see a closed eye, an ear, a round nose, his torso, an arm, and the upper portion of one leg stretched out. Why did he stand out? Because he is a totally different color than everything around him. I believe he changed form quickly upon hearing my approach. Look at the tree on the left. See the hat with the bent tip? When there is a hat, there is usually someone wearing the hat. Do you see the eye, the mouth, and the beard? His face looks a bit odd without a nose, but his nose is being hidden by the branch on the right side of the tree. Remember, these fairies can use energy to do whatever they wish. This includes making themselves look like a 2D shadow on a tree, if necessary. In the oval, we can see what might be called a little rock fairy peeking around the tree at us. We can see the round head, two eyes, a nose, and the rest of the body right down to the feet. This little one has blended beautifully to the color of the pieces of rock around him. If he had been lying down, we would have never known he was there. Well, look at that. A gorgeous purple, blue, and white fairy orb. Now, I know that orbs are usually considered to be connected to locations that are haunted, but my belief is that fairies can take this form as well, since they can easily manipulate energy. Plus, there are no stories concerning any type of haunting at Timmons Grove. This is another amazing way to travel through dimensions. This is the same fairy orb that we saw in the previous picture. I know this because I took 3 photos back to back of this specific location, and this fairy orb was in all 3. You saw picture 1 in the previous photo. In picture 2, it was very similar in appearance but had moved just a bit. This is the last picture of the 3 pictures. Can you see this fairy's beautiful face, especially the eyes in this orb? There is a face on the tree in this picture that looks as though it was drawn by a small human child. We see hair, 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. We might even be seeing one dark hand a bit beneath the mouth. Shadows can create some amazing images, but I believe this is a child fairy who heard me coming and did the 2D tree thing. It's just too perfect for shadows. This is one of those pictures that I wish I could share more of with you, because it is the perfect tree root system that offers a home for some fairy species. In the circle, we can see a tiny fairy. She has very large eyes and is the same color as the tree around her. Now look at the doorways, holes all around her in this root system. It is the perfect home for the little fairy we see in the photo, and the doorways are just her size. This is another photo where the color is what gave away the fairy for me. She is inside the stump and has colored herself a kind of red, brown, maroon. She looks like a troll, a cute one with lots of hair. Her nose also resembles that of a dragon. We can see the nostrils. We can also see her eyes very clearly. Some might say this is just a really good imagination, but with all the photos I have taken, I say troll or dragon baby. Ever feel like you are being watched? The awesome fairy in the tree crevice has no qualms about keeping an eye on me. I am pretty certain he knows that I will not see him with my eyes, which I didn't, so he is not too worried about sticking his head out. The blending abilities of these fairies never ceases to amaze me. I did not notice the child fairy sitting by the tree right away. What I did see was the orange of the skirt. The bonnet suggests a girl, which is what made me look a bit closer. This fairy looks like she's in contemplation. In fact, I'm not even sure that she was aware of me taking photos. She is wearing a bonnet, and we can see profile of an eye and a nose and a bit of hair. The rest of what we can see of her ends at the orange. This fairy is so interesting. I have put an outlined picture of him in the upper left, so I did not obscure the larger picture of him. He is missing one eye, but we can see the other eye. We can see his nose, mouth, and pointed beard. His hat is a part of the log, and his arms are hanging down. Is he the log? I mean, every tree has a being that cares for it. I wonder if this is this tree's tree being, and that he refuses to leave the tree even though it has fallen. He's had a rough time by the look of him. I have no explanation for this photo. We obviously have a blue orb, but we also have an amazing aura that is focused on a certain portion of the tree. I believe there is a fairy there, but I cannot make it out enough to describe it to you. Something beautiful was happening here, and my instinct says that we are witnessing the birth of a fairy, though we have no idea what species of fairy. I would love to hear your thoughts on this one. Do you see her? She is as close to a ghost-like fairy as I have ever photographed, I think. Do you see her silky long hair, much smoother than anything around her? Do you see her eye and her nose? She is looking down. I believe she is also sitting. I have used an arrow at the top of her head, one at where I believe her knees are, and one at the bottom of her dress to help you see her without marring up the picture too much. Well, that's it for this time. I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Real Fairies in Real Photographs. So please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that like button if this is the kind of video you really like. Anyway, we'll talk to you again. Take care.